Hi everyone, and welcome to a special Maker Monday inspired by beloved children's book Possum Magic, which is celebrating its 40th year of publication this year. Now today we're going to make some fast-tracked lemingtons. Now these are fast-tracked because we're going to start with a pre-baked sponge, and I'm going to show you how to decorate your lemingtons. Now, without giving away too much of the plot to Possum Magic, if you haven't read it, the Lemington plays a very special part in this story. So to find out what happens in Possum Magic, you can join us here at the Dubbo Library next Monday, the 23rd of October at 1 p.m. for a very special storytelling as we share Possum Magic presented by the Monkey Bar Theatre Company. And if you visit us and attend this special story time, you can go into the draw to win some tickets to see Monkey Bar present this fabulous story at the Dubbo Regional Theatre and Convention Centre. So we hope to see you for this special event, and let's have a look at what we'll need to make our fast-tracked lemingtons. Okay, so for this activity, we're going to be using the microwave and working with some warm water, and we do need to do a little bit of cutting of our sponge. So please grab an adult helper to help you with this activity, and because it's more fun to create things with someone else to share the experience. So for our ingredients, I'm using a pre-bought sponge, some shredded coconut, some icing mixture or icing sugar, some cocoa, warm water from the tap, and some melted butter, which I've melted in 10-second bursts in the microwave. This is 1 tablespoon of butter. And then for our utensils, we need a mixing bowl, a couple of plates, a spoon to mix with. I'm using some forks to transfer my lemingtons between the icing and the coconut, and you need some measuring cups as well. To make our icing, we need to start with 2/3 of a cup of icing mixture. And to that, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of my cocoa. And you don't have to be too precise with your measurements. Next, add your 1 tablespoon of melted butter. Now, the recipe calls for 3 tablespoons of warm water, but we're really just going to experiment with this recipe. The icing can get very thick and start to get rather hard rather quickly, so I've got extra hot water because I might need to keep adding this as I make my lemingtons. But let's start with 3 roughly measured tablespoons and give this a stir. We want to stir until all of the ingredients are combined, and we want this icing to be sort of the texture of wet paint. So I can see that mine's a little bit too thick. So let's add some more water. Okay, so this consistency is what I'm looking for. So see how you can still stir it relatively easily, but it's a little bit thick, still nice and runny. So let's set up our stations because we need to work quickly while this icing is at perfect consistency. Okay, so I've got my station set up. I've got my sponge, which you will have your adult helper help you to cut into squares. We've got the icing with our warm water ready to go in case we need to thin that icing out as we go. I've got my coconut here in a bowl and a plate to place my completed lemingtons on. So I'm going to use 2 forks to pick up the sponge and use the forks to coat the sponge in that icing. And that way I'm not getting the icing on my fingers, and it's pretty easy to work with. I did pop my sponge in the fridge overnight just to make it a little bit less crumbly and easy to work with. Once you've got it nicely coated, pop it out straight into the coconut and do the same thing. So using the forks to maneuver it and covering it in that beautiful coconut. Then you can pop it straight out and onto the plate. Now you can pop them onto a wire rack on the top of the plate if you like, and that allows the icing to drip down. And then we just repeat the process. So cake into the icing and then into the coconut, getting lots of chocolate onto that cake. Now, if you didn't want to use coconut, there's lots of other things you could use, and you could experiment with different toppings for your lamingtons. You could try sprinkles, chocolate chips, mini marshmallows. There's lots of different possibilities. So I'm going to keep going with my lamingtons, and then once I've completely covered all of my lamingtons, I'll pop them in the fridge so the icing can set. Okay, so here are some that I made earlier that have been setting in the fridge. Now I've got my gloves on because I'm going to share these ones with my library friends, and I'm going to make them up. So there are different ways that you can choose to make your lamingtons. You can coat them fully on every side with that beautiful chocolate icing and coconut, or you can choose to just coat them on the top and leave the empty sponge underneath. And then what you can do is fill that with some beautiful fillings. So traditionally, strawberry jam and some beautiful thickened cream is a really nice combination. So let's spread some strawberry jam onto that base of one of the lamington squares, and we'll pop some beautiful thickened cream on the top, and then place the other half on top like that to make an even more delectable and gourmet fast lamington. So experiment with any fillings that you would like and enjoy taste testing your different lamington varieties. Thanks so much for joining me for Maker Monday today, and we'll see you next week.